Once he knew you, it's like this kid jumped out that's, full of sugar and everything, and he was the life of the party.
Oh, they played hockey morning, night, all day, every day, all the time.
Yeah, even at that time, I said, oh boy, this kid just doesn't get enough.
I think he only fell maybe 4 or 5 times, and after that, I couldn't stop him. He was gone after that, and he didn't stop.
We got in trouble or I did something wrong. You knew he was going to tell Mom.
You probably got most improved too.
It's going to the show, Mom. It's going to the big show.
He wouldn't pump my tires like that.
Gordo, you check his driver's license? I don't think it's valid in Alberta.
No dice.
No dice. Well, you might want to turn off your camera.
And when my dad was nice, he'd get us pizza.
And you'd still take an hour and a half lunch.
And everybody would just love him. Like everybody, hey, Brandt,
His work ethic was the biggest thing, and it never changed.
You never hear anyone say anything bad about the guy.
That's the biggest part. I never want to lose friends.
That's one thing I instilled in Brandon, is remember your roots.
Small little town.
Compact, tiny, can get from one point to the other point within not even 5 minutes.
A community that's very small and everyone knows each other. That's where I come from. I don't like the big city. That's the best way I could describe it, I think.
It was nice raising the kids in a small town because I was originally from one. There wasn't a lot of places the kids could get into trouble. The schooling was there, and the hockey, which was a big part of our lives.
It's a little bit of a special place in my heart, obviously, growing up there. I loved it, and a special place that I'll always remember. When I come home, I think I obviously lived here with my brother for the past 4 years. Yeah, somewhere along those lines. He moved out, he got a job out here, so I thought to myself, that's my opportunity to move away from home and live with my brother. So I ended up doing that, and little do I know I'm still here. But no, I come home. I don't come home for long, but when I do, I try to see everyone, obviously Tyler every day, my parents here and there. I like to catch up with friends. I hang out with the nephew and the family, and it's short, but it's sweet. And we try to golf here and there. I mean, a few years back, we used to play inline together, so play inline hockey twice a week or whatever it was, and not a ton of activities, I guess. Not much to do here in golf.
I mean, you guys will see over the next 4 days.
He was a mama's boy, and I will say I'm very proud of that. But yes, he was a mama's boy. He was stuck to me like glue, but in my emotional, he was very quiet. He was my hardest one to get out of bed into his own bed because he just didn't want to leave Mom's side, and I'm going to embarrass him on that because I was a very proud mom about that because he was my emotional one, compared to the other two. She was high-strung. This one, she would tell you how it is, and that one, he'd just keep it in and get a little angry, but this one, he'd just get emotional. He was my emotional one.
We got in trouble or I did something wrong. You knew he was going to tell Mom. At that point, you're just like, well, you're gonna have to sacrifice this one. But no, he was, otherwise I would say, like, super good kid anyways, on top of that.
He's a very popular kid too back in school. Everybody always looked up to him, I feel like. He was just a guy that go to school and everybody would just love him. Like everybody, hey Brandt, And then I'd always be like, oh, you're Brandt Hagel's sister. Oh, you're Tyler Hagel's sister. Like they were just all around kids in school and stuff like that too.
Brandon was always quiet around me, and then once he knew you, he was quiet around anyone. Once he knew you, it's like this kid jumped out that's, full of sugar and everything, and he was the life of the party, and I seen that a few times around me. I said, holy, where did this come from?
Yeah, it was kind of hectic, obviously. I think we were all kind of into sports, even my sister and obviously my older brother. It was one of those things where you kind of came home and something was going on, whether it was my brother having practice or me having practice or my sister having something, whatever sport she was in at the time.
Played all sports and then just battled against each other, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Locked Bird out of the house. I guess, yeah, we call Chelsea Bird, I guess is her nickname.
Yeah.
We're not sure either,
What do you mean you locked her out of the house?
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a lot of phone calls or some kids showing up at work saying, "Mom, Tyler locked me out of the house." Or,
Brandon always had his friends over, so like every time his friends were over, it's just like I was like, they were always on me or something, and then Tyler jump in and be like, think he's the top guy, and then it'd just be like all of us just, yeah, it was a rowdy household.
We ate out lots, but when we cooked at home, it was never at the right time. I think it was like you just come home and there would be food and just eat when you want, you know, because the schedules are so busy and stuff like that. But
So if you ate out a lot, what was the spot? Where were you going?
rink, basically.
rink, yeah, poutine. Poutine, yeah. Yeah, that was kind of the thing in Morinville, poutine and a vanilla milk to go, and that was good for the night, to say the least. It was always hectic, but it was fun, and we had our times at night where we got to be able to hang out with each other when everyone got home and little things like that. But I'd say during the day it was always one parent was with either two kids and the other was with one. It just kind of flip-flopped here and there, but the best word to probably describe it was hectic.
He played a lot of school sports, basketball, he played volleyball, any kind of school sport. They also played soccer and they played ball, baseball.
I put him in ball, I coached him 2 years, and he was playing with my older boy, he was 8 years old. My oldest boy was 8, Brandon was 5, and oh, you can't play. He was my best hitter on the team. And he was small, of course, very small. And we never lost a game, and we won it 2 years in a row.
And that's with that town as well, because it was so small that you could do anything. They accommodated all the kids to be able to try as many sports as they possibly could. So we were living in a kind of a duplex place, and there was a whole basement. And they had mini sticks from one end to the other. Oh,
We played like big sticks.
big sticks too.
It was wild.
Yeah.
We were in huge games, like sticks way too big for us, like
big
slashing each other was insane, honestly, thinking back about it now.
Yeah, we had a few eye spots. I think Brandon came in with a bloody eye because he was in the back. They were playing outside in the back, on the back alley, and all I could hear was, "Wah!" I'm like, oh no. And Brandon come blood gushing down his face because he'd gotten hit by one of the hockey sticks. And he just got cleaned up and he went back out there again. So, yeah. Chelsea kind of stood on the sidelines and just she was kind of the ref, but really didn't get much say in the matter. So she just kind of watched. Yeah. They played hockey morning, night, all day, every day, all the time. Morinville was a very big hockey town. Winter hockey, and then we went roller hockey, and we went to California. Was our very first trip ever, and we went down there, and they both played in roller hockey down there, and Chelsea just followed right behind. She was great. She really supported her brothers with everything they did. She did play basketball, but she really supported her brothers. She loved,
She loved getting dragged everywhere,
but she was a good sport about it, is what she really was.
Well, she just couldn't pick a sport, so we took her out of them. I think at one point we went to roller derby. That lasted like a month.
He was always a jokester. That's one thing about Brandon. He was a good jokester. He knows how to make people laugh. He still is like that. He has his comebacks. He knows how to come back at you, that's for sure.
we were always joking and stuff, and Brandon just he's sitting on the, he was just sitting on the toilet, he had his clothes in and he's sitting on the, have you ever heard that? Sitting on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, and flush. I wish we had that video, but yeah. Sorry, I had to embarrass you. Me and Ty were talking about it inside, actually.
I think the first time I put him on skates with his older brother Tyler, he was already 3 years older than him, so he was able to skate. So putting Brandon into a pair of skates and taking him out there, and you have to hold them, and he just didn't want that. He says, I want to go, Mom. And I said, well, So I think if I could remember, I think he only fell maybe 4 or 5 times, and after that I couldn't stop him. He was gone after that, and he didn't stop.
At 4, he was, he was stopping on the side. He was skating backwards good. He was doing crossovers. He was doing it all. Like in St. Albert, we had an outdoor rink, and he'd go out there every night. I'd take him out there every night, and that's when he'd play with the big kids. And he'd take the puck, and yeah, I remember that particular time. He was probably 4, when he going out to the outdoor rink all the time in St. Albert. That's where we lived originally, and that was, every night. And it, not 1 hour, 2, 3 hours. So, yeah, he just, even at that time, I said, oh boy, this kid just doesn't get enough.
Like he is today, just goes and goes, so he didn't want to give up.
Parents will tell you, I never tried to live my dream through Brandon. Was he born with a hockey stick? Oh yeah. But I was just gonna give him the opportunity. And money wasn't an issue. So he always picked hockey. I knew he was a good enough kid. I wasn't worried about trouble or anything, but safety. You're 6 days a week in Fort Saskatchewan, and sometimes the rinks were 15 minutes past there. So we didn't want him driving back to Morinville. The extra 35 minutes with snow and everything, it just didn't make sense. But yet, he could bill it there, but yet if he was getting homesick, he could come home that night or something. So it worked out really well. It was the best decision we made probably back then, to give him the opportunity to play AAA hockey, because that's where he had to be.
This is my childhood enemy, Brett Dubuque, now best friend and roommate, you could say. We're at the rink. I haven't been back in about 5 years, and we're gonna go inside and check it out. Any of my names on here,
Yeah,
maybe?
I got your names on here.
Maybe.
Right here, Brandt and Hagel, right there. We're on the sides.
We're on the sides.
So
yeah.
right there and right here.
Leading scorer and most
MVP.
valuable player of major midget AAA.
You probably got most improved too. But yeah, that was the year that we played together, and where we really became best friends. That was the start of it, really. From enemies to best friends. It was nice to finally play with him, to be honest.
Yeah, and when I was in Morinville, younger, we probably would have been 12 then, maybe.
Yeah, around
13,
there, yeah.
around that age.
All our little minor hockey years.
It was us against him and another guy, and it was always never fun.
Quite the rivalry, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it was a pretty big
both little
rivalry,
guys
yeah.
too, both skilled guys on each team, and hated each other at one point. Yeah, just like the competitive edge.
Yeah, and then
when you start to play with a guy like that, right, it's easy to get along.
He was obviously a year older than me, and I was younger coming in, and they were usually pretty good here when I was young, so it was always Brett, the guy you were chasing. Finally got to play together. And
then he hit a growth spurt and I didn't, and I was chasing him after that. He would do whatever it took to win too, and you loved that competitive edge on him. It was good to finally get him on our team, to be honest. Should have made the move to Fort earlier.
Yeah.
Man, they renovated this even too.
Did they?
Like, man, all that paint's new.
I mean, everyone loved to watch hockey, so they have a junior B team here. And, when you'd come watch, this is kind of where you would grab some food, candy bags, and go home and stay up till 3 in the morning, pretty much.
Our Friday night routines where we'd always skate in Gibbons. We'd have a practice, just an easy one on a Friday, and we'd always come here, watch the junior Bs, get poutines and beef jerky, and we'd always sit in the far corner and cause a little bit of havoc.
Yeah, this was kind of it. Hasn't changed much, except now they got mini donuts. That would have been nice back then. This was kind of just all the teams get a certain amount. As you see, it says U16, U18, U15.
So yeah, that's where we keep like all our sock tape, stick tape, jerseys would probably go in the other one. Yeah, pucks.
Yeah, I think you get like 2 a team probably.
Yeah, and then our coaches would get that room too. Yeah. But I don't know if it's open or not. Take a look. This is where, no. But that's where you'd go to have a one-on-one meeting with the coach. Yeah. He'd let you know what you did wrong.
In here was our main dressing room. This was it. Nothing special. We This is where we spent majority of our time.
It was just everybody was kind of on the same page about like this was like one of our funnest years of hockey. We had a really good coach, brought us all together, and like we all kind of had our spots. Like we all sat in the same spot every year. It was a really good team. Like everybody just bonded really well.
Yeah, I think he hit it on the nose. I think if you go down our roster from that year, it was probably one of the best years we've ever had. I'm really good buddies with majority of them. We hang out with them every summer. Obviously, the coach at that time was probably one of the best coaches that majority of those players had on their team. It was a really fun year, and I'll remember that year for probably the rest of my life. As we go along with this, you'll realize a lot of my best friends are usually a year older, so that's just kind of the way it was. And it was easy to look up to a lot of these guys, especially. I mean, you look now at the people I played with from the years being here, they're really successful in what they do and their jobs, and passionate about what they do. So I think I had a good crew to look up to. Yeah, this was it. I can still remember to this day some moments and times, and when you come back in this rink, it just pops in your head about the people you played with, the games you had, and the hard times, I guess you could say, all the tryouts when you were a little kid, and all the nerves and little things like that. I think it was, all those come back in here. And you remember those memories too of your parents driving from Morinville with them when I was younger playing here, and the dedication that they kind of put into my life as a hockey player, you could say. You couldn't do it in Morinville, which would have been the easy route for them. They had to drive the 40 minutes down the road to drop me off late at night, practice, drive home, school night. It wasn't easy getting me up, but they definitely put a lot of time and effort into, I guess, making my dreams come true now.
His best part about his game is his work ethic, and it's one thing that's never changed from when he was younger. Like, he's just always going into the corners, being the smaller guy too, always coming out with the puck. It's one thing that we always talked about when we were younger too. Like, that was what was gonna get us noticed, you know? When you're not the biggest guy out there, you gotta do things that are gonna get you noticed, and his work ethic was the biggest thing, and it never changed from midgets to today.
Obviously, I have a good supporting cast, and just knowing that your friends do pay attention, it's nice to come home and have those buddies that kind of, like he said, lives through you a little bit. Like, he knows exactly everything that goes on. You don't always want to sit there and explain, so it's nice to have a buddy just to kind of talk about stuff here and there, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about at points, instead of just talking to a blank wall, or feel like that anyways.
And that's one thing that we love about him. He doesn't act like he's above anybody. He acts like the same old guy, and it's easy to have conversations with him even after you don't see him for a while. It's not hard to spark up a conversation.
I have one story here, actually. It was funny. My dad said something along the lines that if we win this game or do something, he'll, or if we raised enough money for some charity, he would sing "O Canada" in front of everyone before the game, and we ended up hitting that goal, and he had to do it. I'm sure there's a video out there somewhere we could find, but it was comedy. He dressed up and embarrassed me a little, but I think he embarrassed himself a little bit more.
It was just hard because, you know, you have all your 3 kids and they're there all the time, and not being able to see them every day and not being able to talk to them, and you know, you'd phone and not know where he is or what he's doing. But he had a great billet in Fort Saskatchewan, and they were amazing. They were really good with him, and I knew he was in good hands. I think that was what made it a little easier on me, is that he was in good hands.
Moving in there, I was close to home, so I was able to go sleep at home if I really wanted to. My parents were only 30, 40 minutes away. I just got used to the fact that I was living with a different family, and if I wanted my career to move on and go play junior somewhere, I knew that was going to be the case.
The Doorbells are very good people. I knew them, and Brandon was, to this day, they're very good friends, and they treated him very like their own.
We're at my billet family. They were nice enough to take me in when I played hockey down in Fort Saskatchewan. Obviously, this is one of my best friends to this day, Dylan. I guess you could say he was a billet brother back in the day. We met casually through friends, and we were kind of trying out for the same team, and he was nice enough to ask his parents if I was able to stay with him and spend the year with them, and they were nice enough to take me in and showed me the ropes around this area, you could say.
Brandon made it a lot more fun. We always got up to no good and pretty much did everything together, went to school together, so yeah, no, it was good times.
It's obviously nice and chilly down here. Whether it was us having drinks or hanging out watching a movie, it was a good little spot for, especially at our age, I guess, to just hang out, play video games.
Dylan, how can this work? Like, how can Brandon stay here? And then Brandon didn't have his driver's license at that point. I'm like, how is he gonna get to games? Like, no, we'll figure it out. He just needs to stay here, Mom. It's okay. And I'm like, okay. So that's how we ended up Brandon staying, and I like him. He's kind of a nice guy, and so I thought, okay, I guess, what's one more kid in the house?
I think it was my first time living away from home as well, and obviously having Dylan as my best friend, it was kind of, we did everything together anyways. It's close to the garage door, so easy to sneak down to. All of our friends were kind of one big group, so we always had a ton of friends. Whether Dylan wasn't home, I was hanging out with Tyler and picking on Jaden, to say the least, most of the time.
Yeah, we used to have carpet down here, so then it was mini sticks, and then we got the pool table, and we got the hardwood or laminate.
Yeah, they had to put something here to stop from the walls getting all banged up from the mini sticks.
Most of the time we had friends over and doing something in the basement or going to do what we do as kids and run around and drive around and go hang out at places. So
yeah, everyone was just getting their drivers.
Everyone got their drivers.
So it was like the thing to like, wanna go for a drive? Yeah, let's go for a drive and just go waste gas.
Yeah.
He just fit in like with one of the, just like one of the kids, you know, honestly. Lots of laughs.
4 on 4.
10 of us. Like,
oh yeah.
5 on 5.
Yeah. Full contact.
Definitely not big enough for it, but we would do it.
Like we weren't like 20 all the time. This is in high school.
Probably were a little too old for me.
Yeah, we're definitely still old to be bending curves.
Yeah, go to the oven, make your curve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody knew the code to the house at one point. It's probably still the same. Yeah, it's still the same. You remember the code?
No, I don't. When I'm drunk, I'd probably remember.
Wouldn't even think about
it. Like me and Brandon shared the same bathroom in between, and then in between that was my parents' bedroom
on the other side.
There,
So I could hear someone must have had an upset stomach in the bathroom. I could hear them just getting sick in there. And so I knock on the door and I'm thinking it's Dylan. I'm like, Dylan, are you okay? And the response was, yep, no, I'm okay. Wasn't Dylan. It was Brandon.
Came up to me the night or the day after. And she's like, are you okay? Like, that sounded rough last night. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Dylan was probably his biggest advocate because he was like, he's going to the show, Mom. He's going to the big show. Dylan always said that about you, Brandon. I don't know if you knew that, but Dylan always had always thought you were...
He wouldn't pump my tires like that.
He did, honestly. And I'm like, Dylan, you know how many kids think they're going to go to the NHL? Like, everybody thinks they are. And he's like, no, Mom, he's going to go to the big show. And I'm like, well, he was right, obviously.
Probably just, I don't know, his attitude. He like walked into the room, got along with everyone. Like, you never hear anyone say anything bad about the guy. And then on top of that, he was just always getting better in hockey.
They message back and forth to each other. The whole family has a group chat going on about this and that, what Brandon's done in his game, and it's pretty cool.
You don't hear about it too often. I don't think Dill's gonna say, oh, they messaged in the group chat that.
Yeah.
My family's been talking about you all day.
Like that. Yeah. So it's good to know that people are still watching you and your people care that much to pay attention to you. And I think that's a big reason for why I try to keep in touch with everyone. And I mean, I probably left this house. They probably would have never had that flag hanging up if I never spoke to them again. And, but they're a big part of my life. And Dylan's been one of my best friends ever since we met each other, so it's surreal, to be honest. for myself, when I come back, I try to put in out an effort to get everyone together and hang out, whether it only be a few times or pop my head in once or see you a couple times. I think that's the biggest part. I never want to lose friends and relationships I've had growing up, because that kind of taught me who I am today, and I had to go through these parts of life, so I don't want to throw anyone out the window. People's helped me so much down the road to get to me where I am. I mean, as much as I was only here for not even a year, maybe a year, I think still a part of how I grew up and the people I met and surrounded myself with. So you never want to forget about those people, and you always want to keep in touch as much as you can, even though it may not be much. I just always try to make an effort. I think it was huge. I think it just got me ready for the next step in a way. At the time, I probably didn't realize that, but it was a huge impact and a huge help to my career, and at the same time get used to kind of spending every day with another family and not being around your parents. So I think you can kind of focus on the hockey aspect. So I think that was a really, really big part of my life.
I'd still see him 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. For me, it was always, are you okay? Is everything good? You need to tell me. Are you happy? Are you feeling good? That was important.
Actually, Salisbury was like in the Farmingdale area. That's where we went to church, and that's where we started our business. That's where Brett was, you might say, born in 1953. If you see a beautiful field of corn, you're going to ask why. We ought to check the Guinness Book of Records, because I'm sure there wouldn't be another brother and sister operation that would have lasted for 67 years, I say, without, killing one another. That was our goal, to better the life of our customers.
Yeah, dude, that's probably the play to hit off here, no?
Off the grass, yeah. Absolutely. Corridor has no faith over my distances, putting that guy right there.
Yeah, he's toast. Good ball,
It's a light work out here.
Just give him the clean pick, guys, something to look for over there.
Is it big stick time?
Oh, that thing will just hit them in the head. That was a bit chunky, no?
A tad. Pressure builds diamonds though, right?
Yeah. So we're at the Cardiff golf course. I'm with Jackson Tulloch, Tyler Dzwinka, 2 of my childhood best friends, guys I spent pretty much every day with. We were just the 3 best friends, and all had the opportunity to work out here at a young age, and it was kind of our first job working out in Cardiff.
It was a ton of fun. The free golf was definitely a huge perk. We definitely utilized that. Maybe these guys more than me.
Yeah, I mean, at 13 years old, we couldn't drive, couldn't do anything, so you get dropped off at 6 a.m. for your shift, work till 2 o'clock, and golf till your parents were off work, so it was pretty ideal.
Have you golfed much since you've been back here?
Not bad, actually, probably like 10, 12 times.
At the diff?
At Cardiff? No, not at the diff, dude. Jackson had a more fun job cutting the grass and sitting in something while me and Diz were picking balls on Tuesdays.
We were the labor force of the course. We were out here picking balls with our hands every Tuesday, washing the carts, but definitely no riding on a mower for 4 hours every night, but did the trick.
You guys got to stay clean at least.
Yeah.
I played in the scramble last year.
How'd it go?
It was fun. We kind of choked at the end, but.
Who was your partner?
It was me, Diz, Chad, and this Chance guy.
4 guys?
4 guys, yeah.
Best ball. Scores are low.
It was a ton of fun though.
You go every hole?
But the problem is you go to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that's the best part.
100%.
Yeah, we stayed clean, but at the same time we were cleaning people's clubs and cleaning people's mess out of carts. I leave the mess in the cart to this day, so. But I did the job, so I feel like I have the ability to do that.
You earned it.
Earned it.
Do you remember Stanky?
Which one's Stanky?
The old member.
Who?
John Stanky.
No, I don't know. I'd have to see him to probably know.
Fair enough. Owes me a driver from that tournament.
Why?
Bet him driver for driver.
He had a nice one?
Yeah, he's got the TSI.
That's funny.
It was a no-brainer.
We didn't have our license yet, so that was the best thing. Like when someone told you to go start picking balls, I mean, you're 14 years old picking up golf balls in a truck with a thing on the front. I mean, which 14-year-old kid wouldn't, 15-year-old kid, whatever age it was, wouldn't be excited for that. So I guess you could say that was probably the best part of the job.
Same for the cart.
Oh, that might get right on him.
They might be on the roof.
Oh.
Can we cook some balls at this guy?
Hagel, come up nice and close.
You're ready to roll.
All right, I think so. I think I can figure it out.
Gordo, you check his driver's license? I don't think it's valid in Alberta.
You weren't able to drive, so getting the opportunity to pick up golf balls, it was just fun. I think you remember as a kid going to the driving range and the truck was out there, and as a kid you always wanted to hit it.
I was gonna wait for him to get a little closer. I don't want to put him in the ditch for Gordo and his gang.
Oh. Pretty special, pretty fun. It was a cool first job, and now I love to golf to this day, so definitely probably helped me get into the sport a little bit more. No dice.
No dice.
You gotta come closer, I'm not that good.
At 14 years old, not many people have jobs, but I was lucky enough for them to allow that to happen. And now to this day, they still keep younger local kids working at the golf course, which is cool to see come back. It just brings back memories of working and little things like that.
You gotta tell them to pick up more so you guys can go home early.
That might be good.
Gord, you're gonna have to grab me some Pro V1s. These just aren't flying right. It's turning the wrong way.
He's dodging them at this point.
But it was hard because you worked with your best friend, and obviously he wanted to do this job, but I did too, so we'd get in battles here and there. It was a race to the truck sometimes, but it was all fun and games. Get over it the next day, or at least you had the excuse to say that it was his turn.
He's making it easy, I like it.
Last one, let's hope for the best.
2 thumbs up, perfect.
Energetic, always a nice kid. That's, I'd say, probably the biggest thing. The reason we've been friends for so long is he's always caring, always been there for me, Jackson. I've always been there for him.
Wasn't too much time. We were sitting on the couch. It was always positive attitude, and whether we were playing sports or going to the mall, always a ton of fun to be had.
Since I moved away from home, I think I said this about a lot of people, but it's tough to see people and it's tough to hang around when you're only here for a couple months. And credit to these guys, they've stuck by my side the whole way. They still send me messages. They understand the life and a little bit of what it's about, that I'm not able to always do something, but to have these guys stay by my side, even though the contact isn't always there as we spent every single day together.
Yeah, he definitely liked picking on his brother. That's, I'd say, the biggest thing. Most stories I have are him picking on Tyler if it was chipping balls at him while he's cutting the grass or really anything.
Yeah, I mean, we had our battles, but when I had another buddy around, it was kind of, he picked on me when I was solo, so I thought I'd get him back when I was with a friend, so we could laugh about it and get along, but as soon as Diz or Jacko left, I was probably getting it that night some way or the other.
Well, we used to hit balls from the backyard to the Sturgeon County building for fun. No idea why, just hitting golf balls at a building. And I remember specifically Chip's one hits Tyler, right in the side of the head.
Oh, yeah.
Right in the side of the head. I've never seen someone stop what they're doing and start chasing someone so fast.
Yeah.
I was just standing on the edge of the driveway watching these two chase each other around for probably a good half an hour.
Just a murderous.
Yeah, I guess that was it. I didn't go on the lawnmower. I guess I hit him in the head. Yeah, it wasn't hard, so it was light.
Just a surprise.
Yeah, just a surprise, yeah. Been together since grade 1, so I think it's one of those things that you never forget your childhood best friends. You may not be as close as you were, but you always want to keep in touch because it does bring back those memories and the Morinville memories that I spent 15 of my years there.
Tell us how he was as an employee, what he did.
Well, you might want to turn off your camera. No, that's all good. About 5 years ago, I know what hockey does. It takes up a lot of time, and a lot of these kids can't make money. So I took in my son, obviously, and he could still do his workouts around work. So he'd come in at 9 and leave at 2 if he had a skate or whatever. And I took on a few guys like that. So Brandon they just came in and they did whatever I asked them, and they were really good. They're very committed, as they're committed in hockey, and yeah, they were good guys. Too bad they're still not here. Brandon had no job, and every time he's coming to me and it's money, money, money. I said, well, because I was running the place and stuff. So, and I just decided, these hockey players, they're dedicated guys. They need money. Their parents are shelling out enough. but they need to do their workouts to keep their careers going. So I think at one time, between junior A and WHL, I had 6 or 7 guys working there that would come and go at any times. I mean, Brandon would skate here, or they'd do their workouts in the morning, come at 11, and they'd be able to get 3, 4, 5 hours a day, and it would all work out. And they'd have their spending or fun money or golf money or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of worked in the back. I mean, I didn't see Dad too often, to say the least. He was inside, but I worked in the back. I worked with a bunch of good dudes and guys that I still talk to this day, that my dad obviously knows, and they moved on to different things as well, but just kind of worked in the back. I drove truck a few times, helped around on the forklift here and there if they needed me, but sometimes we got the brutal jobs, but we were also leaving at 1 o'clock or 2, so I had to accept it.
When I wasn't watching, there's probably a few things that I probably wouldn't have accepted, but you know what, they were good kids, and they did a good job. I mean, they never rolled anything or anything, and you could always rely on them. That was, you know, their dedication was there, and they'd show up on time and always let you know. So he was good. They were all good. Brandon, even since he was, you know, 5 or 6, I was in this industry, I used to take him to the warehouse and give him rides on forklifts, and they've always been, you know, around a forklift or riding a forklift or something anyways.
He's had a huge impact in my career. He's helped me in so many different ways. Obviously, he was hard on me and he wanted the best to come out of me, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Maybe at that time I thought he was being a little rude, but I think it turned me into the person I am today and taught me a lot of lessons about life.
You can't really work unless someone's going to work around your schedule, and that's important. I mean, for all these guys are trying to live their dream.
A few things of this stuff would have been here, like, I guess if you could see, like, these bands here, there was a little machine that we had to take around and tighten these up so they didn't fall apart, or a lot of wrapping, to say the least.
Yeah, they do a lot of the packaging. A lot of the packaging would happen, and then they load their own trucks, and then I'd put them on the trucks, and they'd go to job sites and unload, and whether it was, you know, Tyvek siding, whatever.
We would deliver drywall, so it would be like, I don't know how much it would weigh, 100 and more than that, 200.
It was heavy.
220 pounds, and you'd put it one hand here and let it lean on you, and there would be a person behind you, and you'd kind of just walk and drop it off and go back to the truck and kind of do it again or slide it through windows. So sometimes you had to be creative of what window you could take out of the building to get things in, but it was fun. I had one of my best friends doing it with me, so we made it as fun as we possibly could.
And it's funny when you take the truck, sometimes they were a little later coming back, you know, whether they did a Slurpee drop or tour an area, but it was all good. You could always rely on them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do right here. There was like these things that stood really tall, and they were stacked way too many high, and they all crumbled down, and probably thousands and thousands of them. And our job was like grab a pallet, so I guess a square one of these, and stack them on top of each other, wrap them for like months. It was the worst.
That was
thing
their
in
first
the world.
job, yeah. They were rolls, they were roofing rolls, about 80 pounds a roll, and they were stacked about 10 high. Shouldn't have been stacked, about 3. We come in one morning and there's 300 pallets on the ground that need to be restacked. So I think I had 3 of them on that for about a month, full time. They were ready to quit, but they did it. They toughed it out, and yeah, it wasn't fun. I probably even paid them a little bit of bonus for that, but.
You look back at it now, and it was kind of a teaching point in your life as well. Like, you can't just, you got to put in the work, whether you like the work or not. At that age, I don't think the work that I was doing was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life or that I loved doing, but he was like a boss. He wasn't like a dad when I was at work. It was, I had to let him know if I had to leave early. I had to let him know, just, that's what it comes with, and it taught me a lot, and I can't thank him enough, but also he was hard on you, so sometimes scary, but looking back at it now, it was a good thing. He just wanted us to do it the right way, and that's kind of how he lived, and how he is till this day.
So you just go over there and pick up a pallet of shingles. Your forks are very long, so only go in about 3/4 or you wreck the ones in behind it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything damaged, you're paying for.
Yeah, all right, sounds good.
Oh, he did really good. It was a little dicey there. I don't know. No, he did good. He did really good.
That was probably the best part of the job. You just got to sit around, ride a forklift, but there was definitely some hard parts. But when they said grab the forklift and go do this, it was probably the best part of your day. He would always bring us out when we were younger because he's been in the industry for pretty well his whole life. So he'd bring us out, ride on the forklift, and as a young kid, that was always something pretty cool. And then when I started working with him, I could finally drive it myself. So I think it was a cool little experience and something that kind of follows with me. And if I ever see one, I always say, oh, I used to do that back in the day. This is Jamar. He was, when I worked with my dad, he was there with me. So we went through all the hard times together, unpacking drywall. And I mean, he's definitely way better on the forklift than I am, but I tried my best.
Slacked off sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Long lunch breaks.
Long lunch breaks, you know.
Edo or Subway.
Yeah, because it was just right down the block.
Right down the block, right around the corner. So it was usually Subway or Edo or Donair a lot of the time, I guess. Yeah. And when my dad was nice, he'd get us pizza.
And you'd still take an hour and a half lunch.
Well, there was always one day we did, I think, what was it, inventory?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, we had to go pretty much count everything in you took like 3 days, I think it was 3 days. Usually went on the weekend sometimes. We had to count everything and we were off by a lot sometimes.
After 6 counts, you were still off.
Couldn't know how to count.
So that's when I tell them, take your socks off. Use your fingers and your toes. This needs to stop. Get the same number.
When we mess up, obviously there's consequences, just like in life. If you make a mistake, I mean, if you can't deal with the consequences, you're probably not going anywhere. So I think that's a little bit where I get myself from too. I think if you're not going out there giving 100%, then what's the point? I mean, obviously there's gonna be mistakes. Things happen, but they always come with consequences, and you just got to deal with them. It's only going to make you a better person. Our family's been unbelievably close. I think I've mentioned before that my dad's second, third cousins, he's really close with. I call them my uncles. So it's kind of been a thing where your family's always been so close, whether we're always going to the grandparents or we go to this grandparents for Christmas and then over there the next day. So we've always been really, really tight as a family. Lived in a small town. We were never separated, always together. And when my sister got pregnant, it was probably not the best scenario. She was young. I think a lot of people doubted and a lot of people thought differently, but as a family, we kind of came together. You almost feel like a dad in a sense in a situation like that, kind of. My sister hasn't had it easy all the time, and having a baby at a really young age, I think. Just to have him and be there, and now she's one hell of a mother and creating a happy family, and now has a little daughter as well. So.
My brothers have been there for me through everything. The situation was very hard, and both of them stepped up. Brandon was out in Tampa and Chicago, and he still to this day he FaceTimes me. And he always, shows that. I got Ty here, so, that's awesome to have, but he's just, both of them. I honestly don't think I would have been able to do it without either of them.
Gonna be the best uncle I can possibly be, help my sister out whenever I possibly can, and try to help her and guide her and give him a little bit of a father figure and help her kind of become the best mother she could possibly be. And she's turned into one heck of a mother. I think I've said it before, but super proud of her and happy that she is where she is today. I wish I could explain the change she's had in her life from who she was at 19 to who she is today is pretty special.
Just that male figure for Hudson as well. It's just
teaching him how to fight, right?
He tries to drop the mitts when he goes to public skating now.
Yeah. On Brandon, he has a saying on his chest, and it says, always in my heart. Because I can't be at every game that my kids were always at, I'd always say, where am I? And they always said, always in my heart.
You hear it all the time, let your kid live his dream. You're only young once, whether that's hockey, soccer, academics. let them live, and don't run their life. Let them run it, and just be a good parent.
For me, I always wanted to remember where I came from. I think it's a huge part of my life, whether I know that or not in some aspects. I think where I came from, the people that I met along the way, I may not be as close with them as I am today, but I always remember because they were a big part of my life. It doesn't matter that I'm doing what I'm doing. I've been hanging out with you and known you since I was a little kid and grew up with you, so I want that to always stay with me, and I won't forget that.
That's one thing I instilled in Brandon, is remember your roots.
Guys, how often do you get FaceTime calls?
Oh, I get them like during work. I'm like talking with took out a new job, and I'm like, oh, I got a phone call coming in. I'm in a meeting or something. I look, I'm like, oh, Hudson's calling. Does he not know I'm at work right now?
Yeah, it's
and he'll call back again.
Yeah, the one time I don't know what happened, but he wanted to call me on it. I think it was like the first day he has like his little games phone. So it'll come up as like a Hotmail because he doesn't actually have a number. So I'm like, I gotta go. Someone was calling me that I knew their call was coming and I had to call. And he called me probably 35 times like, straight. I'm like trying to talk, like hanging up, like I was.
And he got mad actually because Uncle Brandon wasn't answering the phone. He looked at his mom and said, "Uncle Brandon's not answering me."
Just grab one of these and there you are, Slurpee.
What's the process of selection?
It all kind of depends, but I'm actually a huge Sprite guy, but you can never go wrong with Pepsi, so I would always add the Pepsi at the top, to say the least.
Would you be riding your bike?
Oh yeah, grab it, bike, there you go. If it fell off, you move. You move on.